the Moneyweb Crypto Podcast, where we discuss all things crypto related. Your host, Kieran Ryan.
A cell phone based on the blockchain? You might wonder what cell phones can possibly have to do with blockchain technology, and we're about to find out. The Phoenix X blockchain phone, which originated in the US but is launching in South Africa, does a few things other phones do not. For a start, it runs on blockchain technology that is decentralized, adding layers of security not found on normal smartphones. Given the recent CrowdStrike outage, which grounded thousands of planes and disabled millions of business computers around the world, most of them running on Microsoft software, there's understandable concern about such background issues like security and privacy. Phoenix X is part of a new class of smartphones called crypto phones or blockchain phones that come with advanced encryption and blockchain-based features, crypto wallets, tamper-resistant chips, and biometric authentication. Worried about your phone being hacked or government listening into your conversations? These new phones apparently solve these problems. Well, we're going to find out more. We're joined by Brian Moore, who is the CEO of Finovant, the company behind Phoenix X. Welcome, Brian, to the Moneyweb Crypto Podcast. Blockchain phones have been around a few years. Can you start by telling us what these phones do that normal smartphones do not do?
Absolutely. And firstly, let me just say, thank you for the opportunity to be here today. We really appreciate that and your wonderful community. You guys do a great job. And, we have a lot of work to do in South Africa and across the continent, Pan-Africa. And I'd love to talk about this on many levels with you. The actual blockchain phone industry is very small. It's kind of a new thing that's sprung up over the past several years. We see some activity with Solana as an example, and early on there were a couple of interesting iterations at this, like the Fini phone. So we've seen these over time, and the price and the technology has been out of reach for most people. So our challenge was to take the most incredible technology that helps average people, just the average person, and get it at a price point that they can afford and that can really help their lives. So the blockchain technology is a way to do that because it's so different from a regular phone that's on the market today. And it offers such a great advantage. And we have 4 pillars that I'd like to talk about, hopefully on this podcast, that really define this blockchain phone differently from anything on the market. But this technology has been around for a few years. There have been several other companies that have tried to do it, mostly in the Western economies. And, the United States and Europe generally, or some of the Southeast Asian countries like Singapore or Japan. And but it's very difficult to operate in this space. It takes a lot of time and energy and investment and a lot of fortitude and just focus.
Okay, well, maybe just take us through the 4 pillars. The one part that I am aware of is the encryption technologies, but you go on and tell us what else it can do.
Absolutely. So from a 4 pillars perspective, we like to use the word RISE, R-I-S-E, the phone being the Phoenix X, and so RISE being a very kind of popular word that people really get. So the R stands for rewards, which simply means that when you purchase the Phoenix X, you will get a monthly reward. And being in the country of South Africa, it will come in the form of Rand, the local currency. And it's quite an amazing thing. You don't actually have to use the phone. You could buy the phone and plop it on a shelf somewhere and just look at it every day, and it would earn rewards. And you could log into a wallet every month and access your rewards. It's an incredible technology. The I stands for integrated content. And this could be anything from, downloadable apps to decentralized apps. It could be information that you're accessing through a company that is offering free content like movies or books or things like that. It's quite amazing. And a lot of our partners, our providers, are adding apps to the phone that can be used by the owners of the device. And it's a great way to access content that you would otherwise never find on the market or see. The S stands for security. And as you mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, this is all about the biometrics and other levels of security, including blockchain technology, the blockchain itself, which secures every aspect of the device and makes sure that you as the owner of the device are the only one that can access the device, and that all of your information, especially your most personal details, are secured, and they're secured for your life. So it's an amazing technology. The E is education. This is something that is near and dear to our hearts. When I was growing up, my mom was a school teacher. My dad was a superintendent at school districts, and they just drilled into me the importance of education. And what we realized, Kieran, is that education is what uplifts an individual. It helps a family, it helps a community, and ultimately it rises a nation. It helps a nation to grow. And we realize that education offered through this device in a secure environment creates a pathway for people to move ahead, to take jobs that are not just local, but global in nature. So they can work locally in South Africa and take jobs in America or Europe or South Korea or Japan, some other place in the world, and earn a decent wage and live there locally. It's an amazing way to help people and build up societies.
I presume these phones can be used on regular cellular networks like MTN and Vodacom?
Absolutely. And we're working diligently with those MNOs right now to offer the phone through their retail stores and, selling direct. So they have blocks of them to provide to their employees or their customers. The beauty of the Phoenix X is that you can pre-order it now on the BitMobile website. BitMobile being the South African company which is designed there locally to hire people and build up a workforce and an entire community around servicing the phone, that is providing it to customers, supporting it, and then building the technology around the next generation of applications and operating system.
Right. You mentioned that you're launching the Phoenix X in South Africa. So tell us about the price. What is the price point for the phone, and what market are you appealing to?
Yeah, it's a great question. Right now, the baseline price is 3,750 Rand, which is just incredible. And then we add VAT on top of that and a small shipping fee, so it's just over 4,000 Rand. You'll see that on the website, bitmobiletech.com, and you'll be able to pre-order it. The first set of phones will hit the market there in about 60 days. So it's priced to support anybody at the lower end of the market all the way to the middle end, and of course the high-end earners can get it quite easily. We are looking for family offices and the government and other organizations to help offset the cost for disadvantaged families, so that a mother with raising a child and helping to build her family can get one of these and help educate her children, help educate herself, and provide great opportunities for them using the Phoenix X. So we're looking for opportunities out there for companies, individuals, governments to help offset the price for the very disadvantaged people.
Now, for people who are concerned about their phones being hacked or snooped on by malicious actors, does the Phoenix X or crypto or blockchain phones, do they solve that problem?
Yeah, they do. In fact, the beauty of the device is that the information that you would store on that device, you can actually put in one of our applications and store securely in a decentralized way. So this would be accessed only by your biometrics or by other security methods which you would invoke, through the operating system. And in this way, any information that you have is going to be stored forever, securely. Your biometrics are only on the device itself. They're never in the cloud. And they're in a secure element on the device, so nobody can access them. There's no government, no person, nobody can access that information. When you do back up the device, Kieran, one of the most amazing features of the backup capability is it has what's called an inheritance feature. And in this way, God forbid, if anything ever happened to you, you can bequeath all of your online information to somebody that's important to you or critical to your life or close to you, like a family member or an attorney or somebody that you really care about. And that person can then have access to all of your pictures, your passwords, your delicate information that you keep online. And this is a very important thing because with that technology, no matter what happens to you or the phone, everything that you put on there can be handed off to somebody else.
There's been a lot of discussion about bequeathing cryptos because of the rather difficult nature of recording seed phrases and how you do that. You know, these 12-word seed phrases or 24-word seed phrases. So you would be able to do that and then bequeath that if you pass away to somebody in your family. So they would then have access to your Bitcoin and your Ethereum and, as you say, your photos and whatever other information's on the phone.
That's absolutely correct. And this is such a popular feature because if you think about it, you know, you take a ride in a cab across the city, you know, you're walking along the road and a car hits you, you know, you're flying on a plane. These crazy things happen and they are rare, but for crying out loud, to have something in place that can act as a security, as a hedge of protection around your life is such a wonderful thing. And we find that this is, you know, resoundingly an incredible bit of technology that will help many lives.
All right, let's talk about the educational side. Give us a quick summary of how these phones bring new learning opportunities to Africa, because it does seem that you got a very strong focus on Africa, and you see the application particularly powerfully demonstrated there. I mean, people will say, yeah, but, you know, you can access YouTube, you can access all this online material for education. So what are you going to do that's different in the field of education?
Yeah, this is a fantastic question. So at the outset, the device with this security makes sure that the person who owns the device is accessing the device. So let's just think about this for a minute, Karen. If you're an employer and you're going to hire somebody in South Africa, don't you want to know 100% whether they took the certification test that they said they took? Don't you want to be able to verify that and make sure that the student actually went through all the classes? Because this information is on the blockchain and it's been verified, an employer which would then hire that person is able to offer them the best salary, knowing that everything, all the information that they've been able to validate is accurate. So on the phone itself, it's using the blockchain as a way to store the validation of the classes and the certifications. And during the actual learning modules, we do have, as in one example, we have a commercial agreement with the largest HVAC-R provider in the world. This is heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. And the air conditioning part is very important for Africa because you have to keep food cool and you have to keep medicine cool as two important aspects. If those things get warm or they start to spoil, you have to throw them away. And in economies where money is important, every penny matters. Losing medicine or food to waste is a terrible thing. So learning this type of capability, the phone itself has been designed. It's got 2 accelerometers built into the device. The phone itself can handle virtual reality training. So some of the key modules in the HVAC-R EDU 2-year certification program have been converted to virtual reality education on the device. So you can actually take the Phoenix X and go through an entire learning module, which may take 7 days, and sit there and do it hands-on, actually touch the machines, touch the tools, use them in the exact sequence, in the exact use case. And what this does, Karen, is it provides better learning. The mind is able to retain that information so much better than just like reading a PDF file on the internet. This helps to improve the ability, the capability of the person, increase their ability to be hired and earn more money or start their own business. It opens up a lot of opportunities. So we use the device to do it. We've also put a special app on the phone called the Phoenix X EDU app, and that app uses artificial intelligence. So for example, let's say you wanted to learn about blockchain. It would take you through a sequence of learning modules starting with, the 101, the basic course. And then you would learn blockchain, and it would take you to level 2 and level 3. And eventually you'd become proficient in blockchain technology. The AI app is designed to keep a history of the classes you've taken and record their status, and also give you advice on classes to take. This is designed and included and preloaded on the device. So when you unbox the device, that technology is already included on the phone. So in these ways, in virtual reality and providing the Phoenix X EDU app and all of the sponsorships and relationships we have with the government and the educational institutions across Africa, this is going to make a big difference. For example, Kieran, we were just at TVET East and TVET West in Johannesburg a few weeks ago, and at the Polytechnic Institute in Lesotho. And we did a half-day workshop with these institutions, and the chancellor showed up, the students, the teachers, standing room only. And we went through and we showed them, we walked through the whole process of learning by hand and then switching over to virtual reality. And you should have seen the reaction. This phone is going to help so many students across South Africa and Pan-Africa.
What about, a lot of people would be interested in this phone, maybe already in the crypto space. They like the word blockchain, so they hear a phone that is a blockchain phone. And then the issue of wallets. So this is really kind of geared for Web3, where it's not just you writing and reading and interacting with the screen, you're actually transacting. So tell us about the wallet. Does it come loaded with a digital wallet? How secure is that wallet? And just address the concerns that people might have around these wallets. They're not in the cloud. It sounds like it's in the device. Then if you lose the phone, do you lose your crypto?
Oh, absolutely not. And it's a great question. So if you've got wallets today, any wallet that you have, if you're using MetaMask or any of the major wallets that come from some of the major exchanges, we do have our own wallet called the Cryptic wallet, KRPTIC, we spell it, Cryptic, which supports most of the major chains and, of course, the BioFi token. Now, there is a token behind all of this, which we have in the Binance ecosystem. It's called BioFi, so BIOFI, and that kind of underpins a lot of the technology for being able to buy things in the ecosystem. It's a utility token, so it's very helpful in that way. But these wallets, Kieran, that are on the phone, they're already secured by these keywords, and you'll know this from the technology. So it's when we talk about the ability to store that is the technology that we provide. So those keywords will be stored securely by our software, so that if anything ever happens, again, you'll be able to bequeath that to somebody, or you'll be able to access it using your biometrics. There's a couple different layers of security, but biometrics being the most specific because it's your face and your voice. Nobody else, when you combine those two together, Kieran, it's impossible to break that security. There's no person on earth that has exactly your face and your voice. And AI is not a way to trick this. So it's a wonderful set of technologies, and those keywords will be safe in this phone.
All right, now let's just talk about if you want to transact with these phones. You want to send money around the world, you want to purchase Bitcoin, you want to ship it to somebody else. Does the phone offer some easy way for people to access this? This is one of the big problems of getting mass adoption. It's just too complicated. You've got these long addresses that you've got to put in. You make a mistake, it's lost, and there's no intermediary that can recover it for you. How are you solving that one?
Yes, and I can tell you are very close to this technology, because that is a common issue that people face, and it's kind of frustrating actually to deal with some of these long addresses and some of these services which require you to buy multiple tokens to be able to transact, especially going from some of the main coins to the altcoins. It can be, very difficult. We are working, and I'm glad to announce this here, we are working with a company that is making this very easy to where you can put in your source and your destination, and then if there's other on-chain coins that are required, tokens that are required to make the transaction work, whether you're going to bridge across different chains or you need to buy in one altcoin, but you have to buy it in Binance or Avalanche, AVAX or something like that, it'll help hide those details from the user so that in the background, it'll make these transactions work without the user having to keep all of these tokens in their wallet. And that's something that we'll be announcing and putting in the phone soon. And I think that will answer your question and help a lot of people.
Okay, so finally, this phone sounds like it's going to solve a lot of important problems that you encounter in Africa. Would it be safe to say that somebody living in a small village in rural Africa would be able to use this phone and transact with it without too much trouble?
Yes, and a great segue into the education again. This is exactly why, Kieran, this is exactly why we want to do this virtual reality education. So imagine somebody needing to send money point to point, person to person. They'll be able to use this phone to do it in many cases in local apps that they're familiar with or that they've heard about, but also on the blockchain. And they'll be able to have a stable currency in the background like USDT, which is backing everything. So maybe their local currency has had some swings, but their funds are secured against a very stable token like USDT. And so if, for example, the Rand is moving up and down, there's some stability there. But then they'll be able to very securely transact and send money or receive money. And as we know, when you do it using this technology, it's almost instantaneous. It's less than a few minutes in most cases. And if you use the regular banking system, it can take days. I had to send some money to South Africa from the United States, and it took 3 days to get the money there. And if I send USDT to one of the team members, it's like 2 minutes. So how much more productive are we, Kieran, with this technology? It's incredible.
And on that side, are you tying up with any crypto exchanges to enable that transfer of fiat into crypto and back again?
Yes. In fact, there are a couple. We are actually working on some press releases right now, so I can't announce it here, but I will ask you to come back and talk to you again. And I would love to announce on one of these podcasts some deals that are in the hopper that we're about to announce, some press releases. That would be great fun. But yes, absolutely. We have a couple in the hopper.
Okay, well, fascinating story. We look forward to hearing about your progress with blockchain phones, an entirely new thing. I've heard it rumored for a while. I didn't think they could possibly work. It seems that you have done so, and you're launching in South Africa soon. So I want to thank you, Brian Moore, CEO of Finovant, the company behind Phoenix X Blockchain, for joining us on the Moneyweb Crypto Podcast.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thanks for listening to the Moneyweb Crypto Podcast, hosted by Kieran Ryan. To listen to our other podcasts, go to moneyweb.co.za or the Moneyweb app and follow Moneyweb News for daily updates.